Did you know that some 1,965 Washington quarters were never supposed to exist, but against all odds, a small number of them were struck on silver planchets by mistake? This makes them one of the rarest and most fascinating minting errors in U.S. history. 1965, the U.S. Mint officially stopped using silver in quarters and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition to cut costs. However, a few leftover 90% silver blanks from 1964 were accidentally used to mint 1965 dated quarters. These error coins are extremely rare and valuable, making them a dream find for any collector. At first glance, these rare silver quarters look just like regular 1965 quarters, but if you know what to check, you might be holding a coin worth thousands of dollars. Let's dive into the mystery behind this incredible numismatic treasure and how you can identify one. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. From its introduction until 1964, all Washington quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. However, by the early 1960s, silver prices had been rising steadily, causing people to hoard coins for their silver content. To combat this, the US government made a bold decision. Starting in 1965, quarters and dimes would no longer contain any silver. Instead, they would be made of a copper core with a copper-nickel outer layer. This new composition made the coins cheaper to produce while discouraging hoarding. The transition seemed smooth on paper, but in reality, a major mistake occurred. A few silver planchets from 1964 remained in the minting machines and were accidentally struck with the new 1965 date. This resulted in the creation of an extremely rare coin that should not exist. These 1965 silver quarters were never intended to be released into circulation, but a handful managed to escape the US Mint. Today, they remain one of the most sought-after mint errors in American error quarters history. Look nearly identical to regular 1965 copper-nickel quarters, knowing how to identify them is crucial. There are 3 key tests you can perform to determine if you have one of these rare coins. The easiest way to check if a 1965 quarter is silver is by weighing it. A regular 1965 copper-nickel quarter weighs 5.67 grams, while a rare 1965 silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams. A simple digital scale can help you quickly check the weight. If your 1965 quarter is heavier than 5.67 grams, you may have found something extraordinary. Next, look at the edge of your quarter. A standard copper-nickel quarter has a distinct copper-colored stripe along the edge, while a silver quarter has a solid silver edge with no copper showing. If your 1965 quarter has no visible copper and instead has a pure silver appearance, it's worth investigating further. The third method is the ping test. Silver quarters produce a clear ringing sound when tapped on a hard surface, while copper-nickel quarters have a duller, lower-pitched sound. This test is not as precise as weighing the coin, but it can be useful as an additional check. Nobody knows exactly how many 1965 silver quarters were made, but experts estimate that only a few dozen may exist today. This extreme rarity makes them one of the most valuable mint errors ever discovered. Because collectors are always on the hunt for these coins, their value has skyrocketed. Even in lower conditions, they are worth far more than face value. The value of a 1965 silver quarter depends on its condition. In very fine condition, they can sell for $4,000 to $7,000. In extremely fine condition, their value jumps to $8,000 to $12,000. Mint state uncirculated examples can be worth over $12,000. One graded MS-62 sold for over $12,000. While an MS-64 example sold for $35,000. The highest recorded auction price for a 1965 silver quarter is over $40,000. If you happen to own a 1965 quarter that passes the silver tests, it's crucial to have it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. These grading companies can confirm if your coin is genuine and assign it an official grade which will determine its market value. If you're lucky enough to own a rare 1965 silver quarter, proper care is essential to preserve its value. Always store it in an airtight holder to prevent oxidation and physical damage. Never clean your coin, as even light polishing can leave marks that lower its grade. Additionally, wear gloves when handling it, as skin oils can cause long-term damage to rare coins. Another interesting fact about 1965 quarters is that none of them have mint marks. This was due to the Coinage Act of 1965, which ordered the removal of mint marks on all coins for several years. President Lyndon B. Johnson implemented this policy to prevent collectors from hoarding coins from certain mints. As a result, no quarters, dimes, or half dollars from 1965 to 1967 have mint marks, making it impossible to determine where they were struck. Because these rare 1965 silver quarters look so similar to regular ones, some collectors call them the silver ghost, a coin that hides in plain sight. There are even stories of people finding them in pocket change, old jars of coins, and even in rolls from the bank. Since they aren't widely known, it's possible that more of these valuable quarters are still out there, waiting to be discovered. The 1965 Washington quarter struck on a silver planchet is one of the most exciting and valuable minting mistakes in US history. If you ever come across a 1965 quarter, take a moment to check the weight, the edge, and the sound. You might have a hidden treasure worth thousands of dollars. If you love learning about rare and valuable coins, watch our Legacy Coins playlist for more amazing discoveries. Don't forget to subscribe to Legacy Coins so you never miss an update on rare coins, historical finds, and collector tips. And if you've ever checked your 1965 quarters, let us know in the comments. Who knows? You might just have a valuable piece of history sitting in your collection. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell to stay updated on the latest coin discoveries.